Good morning. My name is Daniel. Welcome to Orchard Park Secondary School, home of FRC Team 2026. If you have any questions throughout the day, please feel free to ask them. Now I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Al Douglas from Team 1229, presenting how to start a community-based team.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so my name is Al. I'm here from 1229, as he said. So the purpose of this presentation is some guidance to if you are new to FRC, considering starting a brand new team, or if you're currently in a school and looking to move to a community-based model. That is the intent of this. So I'll start by saying who is in the audience here and why are you attending this, I guess. So we have 2,200.
Yeah.
So I guess what are you hoping to get out of this today?
We're just looking for another perspective on
Okay.
how community teams get started.
And you went from a school to a community team last year.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Robotics.
Yeah. Just looking into potentially making that transition from school to community.
Okay.
Lots of issues with the school board, so.
Okay. And critical circuits.
This is more of a just, I have ideas of future opportunities where I might be able to start my own community-based team.
Excellent. Okay. All right. So who am I? My name is Al. I'm an electrical engineer by training. I also have a master's degree in industrial engineering, which was completed last year. So 28 years, whatever, between degrees. I used to be an automation engineer working in the automation industry in the Windsor area. I'm currently a professor in the robotics program at St. Clair College. I was the strategy mentor with Team 4903, the Mustangs from Vincent Massey in Windsor. I am now the lead mentor with Team 1229 Title Shift. I've coached FLL as well, and I'm an event volunteer, and I've had 2 kids of my own that have graduated through FIRST programs as well. We're going to look at this quote. I actually see this in commercials now for Ford and football games. Henry Ford once says, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And that applies heavily to starting a new team. A lot of this is based on your confidence level. If you think you can do it, you can do it. If you think it's impossible, you're going to find it's impossible. It is a lot about, do you believe you can overcome problems and solve them? So a little bit about the history of Team 4903. We formed back in 2014, that was before I was there. We started becoming a higher level team around 2018. We actually competed during the COVID year, so that was a very big accomplishment. We had a great season in 2023. We were on the finals of the science field with 1325 and robotics. Remember those good times? We went to championships 4 times, most recently in 2023. The highlight of our history was probably being on this alliance over here with 2056, 254, and 27. About 150 banners on that alliance. 2 of them were ours. So we were the 4th wheel on that alliance. That was the high point of our history, and probably a omen of how that went was an omen of how our team was going to progress from that point on as well. We had a difficult kind of road high in 2023. Didn't do very well in 2024, but we were very optimistic going into 2025. We played off-season event, Southwest International in Windsor. We made the finals of that in 2024. And then immediately after that, the week after, our teachers at the school called a meeting and basically announced that we are suspending operation of our team. At that point, the team was done at the school. At that time, we had about 50 kids on our team, a mix of grade 10s through 12s, because we had not recruited grade 9s for that year at that point, because they kind of knew what was up. We had 4 very dedicated teacher mentors. We had 10 dedicated outside mentors, so mentors that were not teachers at the school. We had a really good sponsor base, great in-house resources at the school as well, so everything was going very well at the school. Lesson number 1 we're going to take from this: FRC teams are very fragile. So the loss of one key mentor can kill your entire program. So think about that when you think about your teams and how you structure them, make sure you are guarding against situations like this. So several reasons for this decision. Many of the same things I've heard discussed from other mentors, and you may have experienced this yourselves. General theme of this, it is difficult to operate an activity such as FRC within the confines and rules of a school. I see a lot of people nodding their heads right now, so you're experiencing the same things I've seen. I want to make it very clear, we do not blame the teachers at our school for this decision. They were incredible for a very, very long time. My kids benefited greatly from everything they did. They were one of the only programs running at the school during COVID. We still had a team that competed. My kids got to go away on trips during the COVID years when there was nothing else going on at the school. So that is really cool that we were able to continue going on like that. So they did everything they could, keeping that team going. So the rise of team 10671. So we decided, the outside mentors, we are going to try to create our own community team and keep this thing going. So we called a meeting with parents and kids, and our pitch was, we basically have no money, we have no place to build, we have no tools, we have no computers, we have no robot parts at all, we have no sponsors, and we currently have no kids, but we're going to try to start a team. We do have a bunch of mentors, potentially a bunch of experienced kids who want to join us, and we have the desire to make this actually work. So shortly after that, we registered as a team, team 10671. We had 25 kids altogether, and we had 10 mentors. We still had no tools, no parts, no place to build, but we were underway. Big differences, as far as I see them, maybe you can comment on this. Differences between community team and school-based team. Community, you have the ability to make up your own rules. That is the biggest thing we love about this. You don't have the school board oversight of this, so we are able to kind of do what we want within reason. We have the ability to meet when we want. So we have our meetings at nighttime instead of during school hours. Really good for the outside mentors. It is much easier to connect with the kids. There was definitely a lot of rules within the school system. I could not directly email a kid on the team, right? Because we can't do that. It was only the teachers that were able to do that. We have open lines of communication now. It's really effective. Lots of rules around email, social media, stuff like that, working within the school system. One thing that's going to really be interesting to see how it plays out this year, outside provincial regulations. I know school boards this year are not allowed to buy things from the US. That's going to be a big deal this year. That is something that doesn't affect us. We can buy stuff from wherever we want. General reduction of bureaucracy. We have an easy time with that. We have the freedom to fundraise as we wish. There's really no limits on that, what we can do for fundraising. And we can offer this program to kids from other schools other than just our own as well. So we can recruit from anywhere. We recruit grade 8s to our team. We can go to younger grades, which makes it nice as well. We can get younger siblings on our team, makes it nice. Within the school system, the benefits of that, you get easy access to students. You get easy access to build space, meeting space, tools. Our school had a great machine shop. We no longer have. You get teachers as mentors. You get funding through the school system, or maybe you don't. We did okay with that. And they actually have an established way of doing things. They do field trips. They know how to do all these types of things. Some stories that I've heard, maybe you can relate to some of these. We always played it very, very conservative with the way that we ran things at our school. So if we wanted to go to an off-site trip, it was always a ton of paperwork to get that done, to the point where we wouldn't do things like that. If somebody said, we have an opportunity to go somewhere next week, that was something we wouldn't do because we could not organize within a week to get all the forms sent out and back and get permission and things like that. We just would not do it. Okay. Here's another story I heard from another team in our area. They wanted to do practice at the school over March break because they had a competition right after March break last year. They were not allowed in their school to work on robots over March break. They found out afterwards the basketball team was in at the school over March break practicing, but the robot team was not allowed to be. Okay, so there was definitely a difference between the way the school saw sports versus the way they saw robotics. Sports had a priority, robotics didn't. Another thing that was kind of weird with the way they needed to treat things as well, things needed to be accessible to everybody. So there needed to be equity within things. If a trip was coming up and it was expensive, it needed to be accessible to everybody. So if things were too expensive, the team couldn't do it. Okay, if someone can't afford it, then the team's not allowed to do it. So they got into a lot of issues with things like that as well. Other lesson here, community-based teams, not for everyone, but if your students want the freedom to carve your own path, this is a great way to accomplish things within the FRC community. It is for risk takers. I find we had kids that did not want to join our team last year because it seemed risky to go off on something like this, on something new. But the kids that we did get are what you might call the entrepreneurial types that are not afraid of taking risks to do something cool. All right, the things I really learned last year. Really important to ask for help. I was amazed at how willing teams were to help when you asked them. Some great examples here. I did a search online of how do you form a community team. I have no idea how to do this. I know that Waffles was community-based. They have a fantastic white paper online. I found some contact information there. I contacted them. They did a long video call with me and gave me a whole bunch of information. They were very willing to help with anything like that. Similar advice I got from 6875 in Windsor, that's the Amazon Warriors. They had actually been working at that time with 1325 how to set up their nonprofit status. Okay, so 1325 helped us out as well there. We got equipment donations from people just by asking. 3739, one of them. You guys gave us a bunch of stuff last year that ended up on our robot. 1325, 4920 gave us all kinds of old equipment, but useful stuff that ended up on our robot last year. I had a great call with 98 Firehawks, and we were looking at, hey, we're probably gonna be a tank drive robot this year. How do you make a competitive tank drive robot? They know how to do it. So I asked them, they talked with us for a long time about how to do that. Okay, overwhelmed by how supportive teams were at helping you figure stuff out. So ask for help. There are teams that will help you. We got a ton of equipment from people. We were able to make up all kinds of test boards that were great for just being able to test things out, to be able to teach kids how to do things, like thousands of dollars worth of equipment if you were to actually buy this new. Make up pneumatic boards, test boards with vision on it. That's a 1325 Limelight right there that they just gave us. It's old, but works for testing out. We actually ended up getting the swerve drive from 4903. We didn't get much from 4903. We didn't get any of their funding or parts in general. They did give us their swerve drive base from the previous year, so that really helped us out a lot. But most of all that stuff stayed with the school. So ask people for stuff. Ask for the world. The worst they can do is say no. Ask for help. Ask for whatever you can do. If you want to start a team, there are some basic needs that you have. You need somewhere to build a robot, somewhere to meet, which might not be the same places that you're building. Your build shop and your meeting space might be different. You need money. First of all, registration. Second, to buy robot parts. You need kids. Can't have a team without kids. You need mentors. You need tools and computers. And you need to figure out how you're going to do your banking, and you're probably going to need insurance. Okay? Build space. So we started off with no build space. We were prepared to build in my basement. That was my original plan. We're going to build this robot in my basement. We actually built our elevator for our robot in a mentor's basement. First time we ran it, we almost put it through a ceiling. But that was us building that in his basement. One of our big breaks happened when the University of Windsor found out about our situation and offered to help us out. They set us up with this nice little space in their capstone court at the University of Windsor. So they gave us a caged off area we could store all our stuff in and build at. And we had free access to this basically whenever we wanted. So that was really good. So that helped us out tremendously. For meeting space, one of the places we work out of, St. Clair College, which is where I work, and we work kind of jointly with the St. Clair College FRC Alumni Club, which is a student club. So we were able to get classroom space there, have meetings. We also had a lot of online meetings as well. Our banking, we set up, we searched around what's the best banking options for community groups. We actually used the same one that 6875 was using. Windsor Family Credit Union. Very low service fees, $350 per month, or if you have $2,500 in an account, it was free. Not a whole lot of features with this account, but basically setting up a to sign is what you want for a community group account. That means that whenever you take money out, two people, two officers on the account need to sign off on it. So I can't basically write a check and then move to Mexico with all the team's money. You need two people to sign off on that. What we can do with this, we can receive e-transfers. We cannot send e-transfers, and we can only do certified checks and drafts out of the account, but we can receive into the account easily. We began the year basically using tools that were borrowed from mentors or students, so we didn't have our own tools. We did add some stuff from donations. We have probably 150 hex keys that are probably not the sizes you need, but we have a lot of them. Everyone's giving us hex keys. We did buy some things. The best tools we have a portable bandsaw on a stand that works really effectively. We ended up buying a bending brake, which is really good for bending polycarbonate. Just heat it up and bend it. We did a lot of stuff with polycarb. Rivet gun, very effective, and 3D printing things. We found worked out really well for us. So those are our main fabrication tools there. We're able to do a lot with that. Resources for this, Spectrum, team from Texas. They have a really good guide that they publish for buying tools. They break it down into the first $1,000 you can spend, first $2,000, first $10,000. They list it all out. A lot of it comes from Amazon or other online sources. You can convert that over to Canadian sources as well. We've been doing that. It comes out to maybe 3,500 Canadian for the first 2,000, but you can find all the equivalent Canadian sources for most of those things. This might look familiar. Robotics. So you don't need the latest and greatest stuff to make a competitive robot. Most of our 2025 robot was built from scraps, donated from 1325. All of our motors came from 1325 we used last year. And from Robotics, polycarb we used. There was a sponsor of ours who gave us an in-kind donation. They said, hey, do you want a whole bunch of polycarbonate? They just, during the pandemic, their entire office, they sectioned off with polycarbonate in between each desk, and they had all the stuff they needed to get rid of it. So they said, do you want some of this? So I went over to their place and I filled my car. I couldn't even take it all. Okay, I filled my Ford Flex as much as I could possibly take, and they still had more left over. So a lot of our robot was fabricated out of that stuff for free. So we did benefit from 4903 loaning us their 2324 swerve modules. We bought new photon vision hardware, but most of what was on our robot last year was circa 2023 hardware. So nothing brand new other than the photon vision. This stuff here, all this versatile stuff, we didn't buy any gearboxes. We used everything out of that for our robot last year. We ended up loaning other teams a lot of stuff out of this too. So this ended up this was all over Ontario last year. If you are starting a new team, some of these solutions like the Rev Ion Max Tube, I know a lot of teams like this for simple, fast construction that you don't need to machine a whole lot. So some of the things you might want to consider. We bought a Thrifty Bot elevator. That was really effective. That worked out better than any elevator we could have designed and built ourselves. So that was a very good decision early on because we saved a ton of time and resources getting that going. For kids, we were lucky to have an existing base of experienced kids to start with. Many from our team were reluctant to join us as they were uncertain the team would be successful. They didn't really know what they were getting into. But those who did, we call them our founders, like they're the founding members of our team. They definitely had a fearless attitude. We also had a few grade 8s. They were either siblings or kids that we knew that were on FLL teams that we recruited. We charge our kids $300 to be on the team. That's what the money they gave us to register for the team. In our particular socioeconomic situation in our area, this was not an issue. I'm not aware of any student that wanted to join our team but could not because of the $300. The grade 8s we didn't charge because they were probably doing a lesser role on the team, so we let them kind of join for free in their grade 8 year. And we gave a $100 discount if we had multiple kids within one family that were on the team. We ended up targeting 10 to 15. We said we need a minimum of 10 to make this work. We ended up with 25 altogether. And we felt that was a big enough. 25 was a really good number. Big enough that gives us a good amount of money. Small enough that everyone still gets to do a lot of meaningful work with that number. Representing 2 different high schools and 3 different grade schools altogether. That's where the kids are coming from. Our mentors. We were very rich in mentors. Only 2 people here, I'm one of them, actually work in education. But what we did find out is that all of these people are really good at teaching kids. That's one thing I didn't know about these people before last year. Everyone kind of had a different role when we were mentors on 4903 and weren't really responsible for directly teaching skills to kids. Now everyone kind of took on more of that role and everyone really excelled at that, which was really surprising to see, but really rewarding to see as well. So that was really cool. That's kind of the backgrounds of everyone here. You can see most people are parents of alumni. They had kids that went through the 4903 team and just stuck around afterwards because they enjoy doing this. You'll also see couple and their daughter, couple and their son, single guy who's an alumni, and then me. And my wife actually helps out with stuff too, but she's not an official mentor. But it's a lot of families. Money. There's really only 3 sources of money that we have. We have sponsors, so companies that just give us money. We have fundraisings, we run events, and we have team members just pay for the registration. If we come up short in any one of these areas, the only real way we have to make it up is to have kids pay for stuff. Okay, so if we don't get enough sponsorship money, kids need to pay for more stuff. So FRC is very expensive, but if you compare to other youth activities, it's really not that expensive. We expect kids are going to pay $300 the base registration, maybe up to $1,000 altogether when all is said and done for the season. What they're going to get for that, 2 road trips plus 1 local event. We're in Windsor, so we get our Windsor event. Anything else we do, we got to travel for. They get lots of instruction. They do fun team activities, and there's a chance for scholarships and resume building as well. So there's a lot of benefit to this for what you're getting for the money. I asked Perplexity to give me a comparison for other youth activities. This is what it came up with, so I wouldn't vouch for this, but it's whatever. But looking at AAA hockey, somewhere in the $12,000 range, okay? AA hockey, dance, these 2 are dance, elite soccer, rep soccer, swimming, different types of swimming. You're looking at least $2,000 for other youth activities. So when you compare robotics to these other youth activities, robotics is a pretty good deal for what you're getting out of it. Here's a good story. I'd be interested to see how you guys handle this. Your number. This is one of our biggest struggles we had. The original thought was we're gonna take the 4903 number. We're gonna carry on as the 4903 team. However, the teachers at the school, they don't know if they're gonna restart at some point. I don't think it's gonna happen, but there is a possibility it would happen, so they wanna keep that number at the school, that's fine. So we registered our team, rookie number 10671. That's a hard number to cheer. It's hard to make a yell for that. So we were like, can we get a better number than that? We don't want the 5-digit number. So kids looked around and they figured out that, our school used to have a team way back in the early 2000s. So there was a team, 1229, that competed in the 2003-2004 seasons from our school. They didn't do well at all, but they basically competed for 2 seasons. So can we get that number and reactivate it? Because that kind of gives them a little bit of a nod to the heritage, kind of ties into the school. We're not completely starting over. It's kind of like it's the school continuing, but it's a new thing as well. So can we take that number? So yeah, that'd be a great idea. So a lot more difficult than we thought it would be. There was a ton of emails back and forth between us, First Canada, First Headquarters. It went around forever. We started with 10671. Our first event, our pit number actually said 10671, even though the number had been changed like 2 months earlier. It didn't show up in the system yet. But eventually, we were able to get the 1229 number. It took us getting a signed letter from the principal of the high school to release that number, because the number is owned by the high school. So the high school actually is in possession of 2 numbers. They have no active team, but they own 2 numbers that they control. We just want one of them. This one hasn't been used in 20 years. Can we please have that number? So they did eventually give it to us in the end. So we were able to do that. Insurance. I think I did speak to at least one other community team that did not have insurance. We were told, yes, you need that. So we did that. We got some advice from both Waffles and 1325. We ended up going with what we got quotes from both of their sources. We just basically called up who 1325 uses and said, give us what they have. So they basically quoted us the same package that they have. So that was actually a very easy process. We pay about $1,000 a year for that, and that gives us $5 million of liability coverage plus a bunch of other things as well. So surprisingly, cost less than I would have thought was. I thought that'd be a big deal. It's not really much of an expense at all. Practice space. This is our space at the University of Windsor Capstone Court, which is actually really amazing as a practice space. It is annoying that we have to lay out the carpet and then roll it back up again at the end of each session, because that is a common space. It's used for a bunch of other capstone projects and things like that. But it is big, it's really good. One thing that we found out is that there's big windows here. And if you're in there on a Saturday, it's bright sunlight coming in and it completely messes with the vision system. So that really sucks. If you're there at night, it's completely different. So that is an annoying thing. But this is a huge space and we were able to practice effectively there, which this is actually better than what we had at the school. It's really nice. Computers. We started the year with no computers. I asked a lot of the sponsors that we were going out to for in-kind donations as well. A lot were not willing to give money, but they were willing to do some in-kind things. I went from no computers to about 8 to 10 laptops at my house in a couple of weeks. So this is one thing that sponsors were definitely willing to give to us. We ended up donating 2 computers to 6875 because they didn't have any, or they only had like 2 for their whole team. And then as far as software goes, most of the software we use is free. Even CAD software like Fusion 360, or AutoCAD, if you're a student, you can get free licenses for that. Yes?
What CAD platform do you use currently?
The kids at their school do AutoCAD, but they do, and then they were getting into Onshape at the end of last year. We're going to try to go to Onshape this year, just to try to do more collaborative. We're going to have a bigger design team this year, so we're going to try to figure out how to do more collaborative design.
Just a small side note on that, if you haven't seen already, seriously have them check in frcdesign.org. It is basically a CAD curriculum for Onshape that'll walk them through from start to finish.
Thank you, okay. Our media group was really good last year. We had a bunch of kids that just wanted to do media, that's what they do. We invested heavily in this. We won the Imagery Award at Newmarket and Spirit Award at Provincials. Several kids were only interested in media. This is an area, if you have a new team, you can do well at media right away. Okay, that's one thing you can really do. We made a reveal video for the first time ever. We never did this with 4903. We made a reveal video. They actually did this by the end of February and had this out there. So not only did we do one, they did it before week 1. It was pretty cool, and it was a good video. So another lesson here. Lots of different kids can do FRC. Some of the kids that get the most out of this program don't do anything with programming, don't do anything with building the robot. This young lady right here, one of my favorite kids that's ever been on our FRC team. She doesn't do programming, she doesn't build the robot. I don't even know if she knows what the game was this year. But I don't think anyone has ever had more fun on a robot team than she does. Okay, she's just awesome. And she does all of our media, all of our administration, takes pictures at events, comes up with crazy ideas and we implement them, and just absolutely fun to have on a team. And kids like this can be on robots and have a fantastic time with it. Okay, so robots is for everybody. Fundraising. Last year we ran 2 fundraising events. We had a bottle draw, which is basically we get a bunch of bottles of alcohol and we raffle them off. I had someone on another team tell me, you can't do that, it's FRC. And it's like, well, we do that with scouts. So my basic default is if we do it with scouts, we can do it with this. We're not a school, we're gonna do what we want. So we made about $2,300 doing that. We actually shared that with 6875, the other community team in Windsor area. So they sold tickets, we sold tickets. They kept the money from what they sold, we kept what we sold. One thing we found out, our team was not good at selling stuff. Of that money, about 80% of that was the mentors selling it. So it's basically mentors doing fundraising. Okay, we had a barbecue at Arona Plus, that's shown there. We had a robot demo going inside the store at the same time. That was what, $600. We took some scrap metal to a metal recycler, $400 from that. That's what we did for money that year. Competition, because we're in Windsor, we need to travel for at least one event plus provincials. Students pay their own way for any travel. We will go 4 to a room, mentors drive. We've always traveled by bus before. Now mentors drive. Parents can go, but they're not required to go. Kids can stay with their parents if they want in a hotel room. They can save money that way. We pay for parents gas, parking, if they take other students with them. So we'll give them like a per diem for that. Mentors get paid for gas, parking. Mentors actually paid all their own travel expenses last year. That is something we're looking to change next year, hopefully. Our trip costs, if you're sharing a room with 4 kids to a room, 2 nights for a Newmarket trip, 120 for the room. Your share to cover the trailer rental and other stuff like that was $60. So it was about $175 was your travel cost plus your own food cost. $295 for provincials. These are actually less than we were paying when the kids were on the school team. So it's actually a good deal there. And all the travel was done by bus for that. Our budget, when we originally proposed the team to all the parents and everything, we said this is what the budget's gonna be. That's how much we're bringing in, or that's how much we're spending, $1,470. $1,4700 is our income. Our actual spending for the year, about almost $32,000. Now, this is because we raised a lot more money in sponsors. We thought we'd get $8,000. We actually came in with almost $18,000 in sponsors. Student fees were higher. We got a grant from Argosy which came up to about $6,200. So we brought in a lot more money. We spent a lot, like we spent a lot of money on robot stuff. Whenever we bought robot parts and we needed 2 of something, we're like, oh, we should buy 2 spares as well. So we ended up buying, like doubling up on a lot of stuff. So we got a lot of inventory now. So yeah, that was all of that. That was our budget for last year. Recruiting, recruited existing 4903 members. And we got some grade 8 FLL kids and siblings. Our goal for next year, maybe 30 to 40 on our team. And sustainability. We want this team to run for many years. We don't want it to be a 1 or 2 year thing and then it folds again. So we want to be able to provide a positive experience for the kids so they come back, bring friends with them. We want to expand into more schools that do not have an FRC team at their school. We want to ensure the mentors have a positive experience and don't burn out. We want to ensure the sponsors feel they are part of the team and they get value for their sponsorship. And we want to be able to build a mentor base, a culture and processes so the team can survive the loss of a key mentor, sponsor, or some other event. So if I do not come back next year, we want this team to be able to continue. Or if one of our other key mentors does not come back, we want the team to be able to continue. We don't want it to be, if one person leaves, the team is done. We want this thing to be self-sustaining, being able to take on a loss like that. So our plan for next year, same general needs. Build space, we're gonna be back at the University of Windsor. We moved your stuff into storage over the summer. We're moving back into there any day now. Meeting space. Surprised at how cheap it is to rent space in a school. We should have figured this out last year. It costs in Windsor for a nonprofit, or a not-for-profit youth group, $3.17 an hour for a classroom. So we can have a weekly 2-hour meeting for $6 a week. So that's pretty excellent. So we booked this. So every Monday from October until May for $225. So that worked out great. So we'll be doing that. We're actually meeting at the high school that we used to be at for $6 a week. We're having a couple fundraisers. We're having trivia night in November. We're selling that right now. Our target is to raise $4,000 from that. We'll probably do a bottle draw again at Christmas. Another trivia night in the spring. We're going to charge $300 a student again. We're actually starting with $2,500 in the bank to start the year, so that's good. We anticipate it's going to be more difficult this year to get sponsors. We've been told by some sponsors, plan for not as much money coming in this year, particularly in the Windsor area. We're heavily affected by the auto industry, and they have been hurting for the last while. The FRC grant we got last year, we will not get again this year. We also had one large donation. We had a $5,000 donation last year that we will not get again this year as well. So there's definitely the sponsor money is going to drop. We're anticipating that. So last year versus this year, our registrations are up a bit. Robot parts, we're going to spend less. We're budgeting $2,000 for tools, media, all this other stuff is about the same. Sponsors, $18,000 last year. If we get 10, that would be good. Participant fees, probably $7,000 we'll get for participant fees this year, and $6,000. I put this number 6,000 in here, and then back on this slide, that ends up to 11. So good math there. So we'll see how that works out. But about 23,000 budget for this year is what we're looking at. Okay. Robot parts, we're going to take apart a robot from last year, reuse it. Like some things, for example, we have enough photon vision hardware to do it for two camera systems. We'll buy new aluminum tube and other material, but most of the other stuff we'll recycle. Recruiting, we've been going out to local grade schools and recruiting. We need to replace 10 graduating students. We think 14 of the 15 returning students coming back. So we've been recruiting quite heavily. We think we're at about 40 students now in our recruiting, and a lot of grade 8s, 9s, and 10s in there too, which is good. maybe 6 to 8 different schools we're getting students from at this point, which is really good. And really good gender and ethnic diversity within that as well. That's all of our graduates from last year, going to a lot of different universities, several different programs. All of our mentors are coming back. We've also got graduates that are interested in becoming mentors as well. Yes?
Are you ever worried about retaining knowledge from loss of memories?
Yes, we've never had a good plan of how that's done. And that's, yeah.
Is this something like potentially set up a Word document and follow?
The documentation is something we definitely need to, right now, it would be go back and look on Discord, the Discord history, right? Or the Google Drive history. But that is something we don't have a formal process of how to do that. And that's something we need to develop. That's something as we get more members, we can say, okay, we have now 12 people doing design. That's going to be your task for this little group. Figure out how to document this stuff. Tools this year, we said we got about $2,000 for a budget. If we use that Spectrum first $2,000 list, which is $3,500, how are we going to get there? We also want to get a CNC router this year. So how do we accomplish these things? So again, well, in-kind donation. I got a CNC router donated by Saint Smart. And that's basically by going out and emailing a bunch of CNC companies and saying, hey, this is what we're doing. Will you give us one? And these guys bid on that. Okay. Building relationships with tool manufacturers. We're getting some in-kind donation there from tool manufacturers or discounted rates for tool purchase. There's a couple tool manufacturers that have programs for things like that. So we think we can stretch that $2,000 budget to be able to get everything we want for tools this year. So again, going out and asking for things. So asking for money is difficult. Asking for in-kind donations is much easier. We found in-kind donations, people were very willing to do that for us compared to giving straight up dollars. So if you can get something for free that you were planning on buying, that's essentially the same thing as getting money. Banking and insurance, sticking with the same type of insurance. We want to change our banking a little bit. We'd like to have a credit card. So we're figuring out a way to do that because it's very easy to pay things with credit cards, very easy to track as well. We just have one credit card where all the spending goes through. It makes it very easy for accountability. We also want to set up, we can do e-transfer. So if we need to reimburse students or parents or whatever, we can easily do an e-transfer from our account. We want to be able to do that. It would be nice to have a dedicated treasurer. We don't have that right now. That's basically me. So I handle all the money stuff. It would be nice to have someone that just does specifically that. Nonprofit status, you're asking about that earlier. 2 models that we've looked at. The waffles model, I'm going to call it. That is basically a board that meets regularly. That's a more formal process, register as a nonprofit. The 1325 model is going to like a trustee and being a registered trust, I believe it's called. Less legal, and this is the path we're going to follow. I think it sounds like it's an easier process to do. These are from my memory, that's the terminology there, so don't quote me on that, but that's the process we're going to do. It's a long process, and that's why I haven't done it yet, because it takes several months to get processed. Advantages of that, you can write receipts for donations. You're eligible for some grants and fundraising opportunities that only nonprofits can get. Our bank that we go through, we asked them for a donation last year, and they would only give it to us if we were a registered nonprofit. That's our own bank.
I just want to clarify something.
Yeah.
Receipts for donations is charitable status, not nonprofit. We ran into this during our thing.
Ah, okay.
So you may want to read into that. It's there's a nonprofit organization, and then there's charitable status, which is like you can add it on top.
Okay.
Is the best way of describing it.
We'll have to, okay.
Yeah. Everything else.
That's another like 8-month process.
Yeah. Everything else besides the receipts for in-kind donations and monetary donations is under nonprofit.
We only had one sponsor last year ask us for a receipt. Everyone else was happy with just taking the being listed as a.
Yeah.
And there's some better pricing you can get for things like our school board rental would be 70% less. It would be less than $1 per hour. What we don't want to do on field, we want to compete a lot this year. We're going to Stemley, we're going to the Windsor off-season event, doing the regular round of this stuff. We're looking at doing a third event this year, which I would like to do, trying to convince other people to do it. If you were really cost conscious and you were looking at doing provincials versus a third event, provincials cost $4,300, a third event costs $500. If you were really trying to save money but wanted to do 3 events, you could do a third event and not go to provincials, but provincials is cooler, right? We are not planning on going to Houston if we were to qualify, but if we were to qualify, it's pretty hard to say no. So we'll burn that bridge when we come to it. See how that goes. We want to be better on the field, just like everybody does. We want to elevate our software level. We want to elevate our auto. Those are our 2 biggest deficiencies last year. We want to be a playoff alliance at provincials. We haven't done that in a while. We want to win an award at every event. We did that last year, which was nice. And we've competed for Dean's List. We thought we've had really good students, but we've never had a student win the Dean's List. We really want to see if we can do that this year. Okay, so in general, why should you start an FRC team? Looking at you. Why should you do this? So our biggest award we have is Impact Award. So what does impact actually mean? So to me, when I think of that, making something possible that someone thought was impossible. Okay? Now this is from an email that I got a couple months ago. So I truly don't think I'd be interested in engineering, let alone graduating, if it hadn't been for you starting our first LEGO League team all those years ago. Your mentorship through FRC kept me engaged and played a huge role in getting me to where I am today. So that's from a student that started in LEGO when she was in grade 8, just graduated from engineering this year. And she's told me before, she never thought of engineering as a career path. But this is what put her onto that. Really enjoyed these programs. And that is what impact is, in my opinion. Okay? So that is what starting a team does for these kids. So if you are thinking about starting a team, do it. Find a way, solve the problems, and do it because it is worth it. So when he says, you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So figure out a way to solve the problems. All these problems have been solved before by somebody else. The information is out there in the community. Ask for help. People will help you. You can figure out a way to get this done. So summary, despite the difficulties of running a community team, there are many advantages compared to the school-based model. Many other teams in Ontario have solved these problems and are willing to help you. And regardless of the format, starting a team is a very rewarding experience for mentors and exponentially more rewarding for the students. Okay? So that is all I have. Yes?
Okay, we just have one question from the stream chat
Yes.
asking, how do you advertise for recruiting groups?
How do we advertise for recruiting? So we are having an open house coming up. We actually go out to schools. So we went out in the fall last year to grade schools and talked to grade 8s in our areas, to the grade schools. So the students were going into grade 9. We got them last May. Our biggest avenue for recruiting is probably, now we had an existing team, we had existing relationships with high school students. So from them doing the recruiting for us through word of mouth, through their friends, their siblings, stuff like that. Another one we just did last week, there's a private school in our area. So probably very similar to your school. I connected with them. They would love to have an FRC team, but they feel like they're not big enough, they don't have the resources in-house to do it. So we went to their school and said, hey, we have this in our community. If you have students from your school who would like to do this, they're welcome to come join our team. And it looked like, from show of hands of people that were interested in stuff like that, there was maybe 4 or 5 students there that were very interested in doing something like this. So we gave a presentation at their school, and we might get a couple students at a time. So just going out to schools in the area that don't have FRC at their school and giving a presentation of what it's about, and just finding people that are interested.
We do the same at the end of each year, right? Considering our feeder schools, right? The schools that are feeding into our high school,
Yep.
or school team, and it's a really, really effective way of recruiting.
Yeah, and we went to the club day at the high school, and I had a couple students there say, where are you guys at the grade school that they went to? I remember you guys from the grade school. So they actually remember us being there and doing that presentation from last year. So that was nice to see that that actually had an effect, and they signed up on our contact sheet. Okay. Any other questions?
How did you manage this year? You said you're working, trying to transition to acquiring credit card and stuff or making payments. How did you go about making component purchases and stuff like that, or just general expenditures?
So it was always a mentor putting it on their card and then reimbursing afterwards, which difficult to track, and just I mean, I got a lot of expenses on my credit card that I get paid back for as long as I actually track them properly and stuff like that. So it would be nicer just to have one card where we can just look at the statement of that, and everything on there is robots.
There's obviously also more looking at going to the not-for-profit status. There's some more legalese and documentation, I'm sure, that's associated with that, required with that. Was there anything that you implemented before, just general starting out in terms of processes, rules, stuff around that, or just?
We've taken a lot of stuff from, like, our whole code of conduct and everything, we took from 1325. We've borrowed a lot of stuff from them. Yeah. Because we got, like, right before we went to our first event, we're like, oh, we should have a code of conduct. like figuring out stuff like that. And we started this in November, right? Like, we went from November to, yeah, we're going to competition in 3 months from now. So there wasn't a whole lot of ramp up
That's
to it.
very quick.
Yeah,
We started in May,
yeah.
and we thought we were doing it quick.
We started in May. Before that, we had an idea. It was
Yeah.
slowly creeping up on us.
Yeah, and we had kind of a heads up about a year ahead of time that this might be something to do,
Mhm.
but it really got sprung on us last minute, so. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for listening. Any other questions? Does it differ greatly from experiences you guys have had, or?
A bit.
There's a little bit different. Like, because we run a facility, like, we have our own facility. So all the budget numbers are, times 8.
You guys are much larger scale.
Yeah, but like the student recruitment, that's still a problem that every community union team is going to deal with. You talked about bank accounts and credit cards. That's something that I'm looking into literally right now, because we've been doing the reimbursement model to
And
this point.
what I'm finding is that I can't get one through the organization.
No.
I need to get one through my own, like, it's basically gonna be my own credit card.
So what we did is
But it's gonna be just, that's my own credit card just for this purpose.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
What we do is we have a community bank account that has a MasterCard debit card. That gets us 60 or 70% of the way there, but there's lots of websites like that you can't pay with that type of card. And if that's the case, then either goes on my card or we have a good reimbursement system set up so that if mentors do end up paying for something, it's all through Discord, and it all gets paid out at the end of every month. So we just track it that way, but everything is documentation is number one for everything.
Yeah, I think we've just had more time to set ourselves up before the season started, so we were able to get
that's
the
a big
not-for-profit
difference, yeah.
status and the charitable status just before the season started, whereas you guys had
Yeah, and I
3
think-
months, right?
And I think our documentation needs to get tighter for going for the not-for-profit status as well.
Yeah, we actually paid a lawyer to do our charitable status for us and our
Okay.
not-for-profit status. It wasn't cheap, like it was $10,000. But it was one thing that we just didn't have to put any effort into, and it got done for us.
Yeah.
Right, and we knew that, you know, we're in this for the real long haul. So, you know, you amortize that out over 10 years, it's $1,000 a
Yeah.
year. It works out, but like you mentioned, you know, sustainability with the loss of a key mentor, that's something we're focusing on right now, is trying to make sure that not only is the knowledge there, but also the sustainability in the accounting side of things, right? Like if we lost a major sponsor next year, you know, we've got one sponsor that's $30,000 a year. If we lost that,
Yeah, like how do you make that up?
you know, when our rent payment's $100,000 a year,
Yeah.
how do we make that up, right? So that's something we're looking into.
All right, thank you. Okay.
Awesome. I actually learned a lot from that. That was great. Having a community, like a space that's donated to you